Good afternoon and welcome into the final episode of the Buccaneers Coaches Show for the year. I'm your host, Brandon Genson. Beach volleyball wrapped up the 2020-21 sports season as the number 2 seed in the CalPAC tournament. And although the Buccaneers came short of winning the championship as a team, Miranda Bacon and Jennifer Lauer were named the inaugural pairs champions for the tournament. As a team, the Buccaneers defeated Benedictine Mesa 3-2 on day 1 of the tournament before falling 5-0 to St. Catherine. To stay alive, the Bucs had to win another match with Benedictine Mesa, but the Red Hawks turned the tables and advanced to the championship match. With the team portion of the tournament wrapped up, Miranda Bacon and Jennifer Lauer defeated 3 pairs to secure the pairs championship. The final match was against St. Catherine's Samantha Schaefer and Olivia Muriel, who took Bacon and Lauer to 3 sets before they secured a championship. Beach volleyball is the only sport Park was playoff eligible for this season, so the pairs championship is the first conference championship of any kind won by Park Gilbert. Last week, Athletic Director Jeff Ford made official the hire of Jack Hartley as the new head women's soccer coach. Hartley comes to Park having spent 1 season as the head coach at William Penn University and 3 as an assistant at the University of Jamestown. I spoke with Hartley this morning to give him a chance to introduce himself on the Coaches Show. All right, Coach. So first things first, I just kind of want to give you the floor to tell us what you want us to know about you, your background in soccer and education, just anything you think. How would you introduce yourself to the Buccaneer family?
So, I mean, I'm soccer crazy, really. Love soccer, obviously. Played for a large portion of my life and then have got into coaching. One of the biggest reasons is just how much I really do love soccer. And so that's kind of the biggest thing I think people should know about me. I've kind of dabbled in some different things as well throughout my life. I've done a little bit of teaching at the elementary level, and I've done a little bit of counseling as well. And I think coaching is where I'm supposed to be. And so that's kind of another thing that people should know about me is that I've done a couple of different other things too as well. But I'm super excited to be a part of the Buccaneer family. I'm excited to get going. Been in touch with the current team, and we're kind of just starting to get things moving there. So I'm excited to finally to really get things going there. I would say that I like to think I'm, a reasonable coach, but I do set high standards for the players as well, because ultimately I'm here to make them better and help them improve. So I think that's kind of, those are the key points that I like people to know about me right off the bat.
Yeah, and can you tell us a little bit about your soccer background as a player and where you played and a coach and where you coached?
Sure, yeah. So as a player back in England, I kind of went through the academy system and kind of, with under contract to a couple of teams, and then at the age of 16, was released from that environment, and then decided to focus on education for a little while, as well as kind of playing semi-pro soccer. In the way that the structure is in England is that there's you can get promoted and relegated, right? So we were kind of step 6 or step 7 or something like that. And then at 18, I came out and went to the University of Jamestown to play soccer and study, and where we had, I think my freshman class was kind of the largest class they've ever had. And so we had about 10 seniors that graduated my senior class that we'd all been together for those 4 years and played quite consistently over those 4 years as well. And we were somewhat successful there. Over the summers in my junior and senior year, I started to play semi-pro soccer in Florida for Storm FC. And then as I graduated and kind of got more into coaching and teaching, I still played the semi-pro thing on the side for FC Fargo for 1 year, and then Dakota Fusion when they formed for a year, and mainly 1 year, and then that second year I kind of took a step back and did more coaching, and that I believe that was the year I then coached for Dakota Fusion for the women's semi-pro team there as well. So that's kind of the playing career. It kind of ended in 2018-ish. But then yeah, since then I've been coaching club, high school. I was an assistant coach at the University of Jamestown for 4 years, and then I made the transition into a head coaching position at William Penn for last year, which was a tough year for sure with everything going on. And then now excited to take on a new challenge here.
Yeah, and you said you've had a chance to kind of meet the players a little bit, and I know you went through the entire interview process. So what kind of sold you on Park? What are you most excited about to get started with here?
For sure, yeah. I mean, the sky's the limit, really, in terms of being a newer school. Things are still in the process of being developed, and having a part to play in that development is certainly something of interest to me. I mean, I love the area. I'm very heavily tied to the area with regards to recruiting. I would say 80%, 75% of my recruits come from the West Coast, and so being closer, we'd lose a lot of recruits to wanting to be closer to home, or not liking the snow in the Midwest, and so perhaps being closer to the action is more appealing for those recruits, and so that's kind of the two main reasons, I would say.
Yeah, and yeah, you mentioned, I know you have a lot of West Coast recruiting ties, and that's kind of one of your strongest selling points coming to the West Coast, because most of your recruiting in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
What can we expect out of you as a head coach? I know you've shown in your past stops that you're a great recruiter. What can we expect from you in the field? I mean, I know you've had a little bit of a chance to talk to your players, but yeah, what can we expect out of you in that sense?
For sure, yeah. I mean, we are gonna try and develop these young ladies holistically, not just soccer practices. They'll be lifting. We need to make sure we're taking care of business in the classroom. That we'll be focusing on our team culture and making that even stronger. So those are things that you can expect from me, and the girls can expect to see in their schedules, and areas that they're likely going to improve with me. I think it's important to manage their time. It's important and I'll help them with that. But it's important that I think they realize that it's going to be a commitment. There's obviously, we have other things in our lives that are important to us, but we really do need to make a commitment to this if we want to be successful and want to improve and want to develop. And it's not just your season from August to November. It's even outside of our 24 weeks, what are you doing in that time to help yourself grow and help yourself improve for the following season? And then once we can get going again in the spring, we're back onto things, training regularly, lifting, doing a lot of things like we would do during the season. And so it's important to understand that you're doing things year round, even over winter break, over summer break. You're getting your workout packets and making a commitment to the program. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing for me is that commitment piece, and that you're in college, you're there to play soccer, you're there to obviously get an education first, but we want people that are just as committed to the athletic piece as well, and want to be successful.
Yeah, so in addition to the commitment, what else do you expect out of your players?
So, I mean, the communication piece is big. I mean, I know a lot of the girls, they work. I know a lot of the girls have heavy class loads. And so that communication piece is key. We can problem solve as long as we talk about it. But if we're asking for forgiveness rather than permission, it might become a bit of a different discussion. So I think that's the key. Making sure you're doing what is asked. You're just being coachable on the field, but being coachable off the field too. If you're someone struggling with their academics, and we provide these platforms and these options for them to improve in their grades and get the help they need, I mean, we can only do so much. We can only guide them towards the resources. But if they don't utilize the resources, then there's not much more we can really do. And so it's up to them, that self-drive to take advantage of what's being provided, and understand that we're here to help. And if they're not willing to help themselves, then what we do really doesn't have a ton of bearing on the results. So having them, I expect them to follow through, and take advantage of the platforms that are available to them for on the soccer field in terms of myself as a coach, but then also in the classroom and within the school, all the other people that are here to help them.
Yeah, and I know, I'm sure you know, and it's really no secret that you've kind of got a tall task ahead of you. You are taking over a program that struggled in its first 2 years. And I think when that happens, there's always we want to fix the culture before you can fix a lot of other things. What kind of culture are you hoping to build here?
Yeah, I mean, it's first and foremost, I think it's important that the team gets along and that they have strong relationships with each other, because once that's built, that's the base, I believe. Once that's built, everything else will follow. For example, if we're in practice and we want to practice the way that we play, we want to be at the same intensity, the same physicality, the same mental focus, the same speeds, and to prepare us for the games. And so if we're going shoulder to shoulder and someone gets knocked over, if the relationship isn't good there, then that becomes personal right away. And whereas if the relationship is good and people understand that everyone is there to help each other get better, it's not me versus you, it's me with you, trying to help each other improve every day. And then that becomes a different mindset now. Okay, they just put me down. Maybe I wasn't quick enough. Maybe they were helping me improve. Right? If I don't want to get knocked over, maybe I need to move the ball quicker. So kind of two pieces there. The relationships are key, but then I think those habits, I mentioned the habits on the field, practicing the way that you play, but that then falls into everything. Are you studying for your tests? Are you doing your homework to the best of your ability? Or are you slacking and just getting by? And so, it's important that we instill that. Even me and you walking down the corridor, down the hallway, I'm going to get to the door first, and then that kind of healthy competition between each other, I think, is important.
Hartley officially took over the position last Monday, May 2nd, and he'll make the move to Arizona at the end of the month. Some news came down from the CalPAC just in time for the final coaches show, as 12 players from softball and baseball earned conference honors, including Michelle DeNicola, who won Player of the Year, and head coach Kelly Stinnett, who won Coach of the Year. DeNicola hit .442 and led the nation in slugging percentage with a .977. She also hit 6 home runs, breaking her own school record. Coach Stinnett led Buccaneers baseball to a huge jump in 2021. In the inaugural season, the Bucs went just 11-19 and had all their conference play nixed by the pandemic. This past season, the Bucs went 13-13 and 10-5 in conference play. This is Stinnett's second time winning the award, as he won it once while the head coach at Benedictine Mesa. Alongside DeNicola, third baseman Destiny Alvarez was also named to the all-conference first team, while Courtney Beckwith and Gabby Valley earned honorable mention, and Nadia Gutierrez was named a champion of character. In baseball, Aaron DeHoot was the team's lone conference first team nod, while Bryce Beck, Frank Reshapo, and Diego Bustillos all earned honorable mention. Beck was also named to the Rawlings All-Defensive Team alongside third baseman Andrew Dresden, and Adrian Gomez was named a champion of character. And while we're on the topic of conference awards, we never got the chance to recognize our 9 men's and women's soccer players who also earned all-conference nods. The Buccaneers' leading goal scorer Nicholas Sullivan was named to the all-conference second team, while Victor Sanchez, Eduardo Lazaro, Andrew Gomez, and Jonathan Perez were named honorable mention. On the women's side, Ruth Morga and Alex Coronado were named honorable mention, while Megan Bellis and Osvaldo Sanchez were named champions of character. The awards make for a total of 32 on the season among 27 different athletes and 2 different coaches. We also have to congratulate Kylie Saunders, who won Player of the Week last week for her performances in the season finale against Simpson. Saunders threw complete games against the receiving votes Red Hawks in both of her outings. Over the 2 games, she surrendered just 3 runs and struck out 7 as the Buccaneers split their final series of the season. Saunders' award means that the CalPAC has awarded 22 different Buccaneers with weekly honors for a total of 25 awards on the season. Before we sign off on the Coaches Show, we also want to take a moment to congratulate everyone who graduated from Park this past Saturday. We also want to remind you to keep an eye on parkbuccaneers.com and at Park Buccaneers on social for all your Buccaneers news throughout the offseason. And until next August, go Bucs!